Go. All right. So we're talking about the Mayflower landing in Plymouth, right? So these are the second group of British people. Why did they come here?
Me.
Yeah. No. So why did the Pilgrims decide to come to the New World?
Because it's New World, they're only trying to conquer everything that they came
Guys, a couple of my relatives were on that.
Yeah, very good. Religion. Yeah, so they're not here necessarily trying to conquer like the conquistadors, but they're coming here because of religious persecution. All right, so basically in Britain, they were kind of extremists. They were called Puritans. They wanted to purify the church, so that was their main goal. All right, but the problem was that they started to tick off everybody in Britain, and so they left. They went to the Netherlands, and eventually from there they left, and they said, let's just go to the New World, create a new society. Okay, and it's called a city on a hill. If you guys, are y'all in English 3 right now, or took it last year?
I took it last year.
Okay, y'all remember reading The Crucible?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the
I
whole,
took it.
Yeah.
I thought we read that last year.
yeah, it was good. So in The Crucible, the Puritans, they go kind of crazy on the witch hunt and everything.
Movie stuff, huh?
Yeah. But so that's the general idea, okay, is that the Puritans are here to create this new city on a hill, all that good stuff, right? Okay. All right, so we've got Jamestown in the south, which is set up like a company. All right, they're trying to get gold and they're trying to grow. Mayflower in the north is more pilgrims because of religious persecution. All right. Now, after this, the rest of the 13 colonies start to develop.
So when they move, when the Mayflower comes, is Jamestown still settled?
Yes, so Jamestown settled in
Do
1670.
they make their way between each other or no? Or they
Not
just-
too
did
much.
they not like each other?
Not too much. So, and
Really?
we're actually going to read about this today. So basically,
Jamestown and the Mayflower beef.
yeah, so there was a difference between the people on the Mayflower. They were split over this
They
idea.
were ugly.
So they came over because of religious persecution, but they were coming over under a contract with the Virginia Company, meaning that they had permission to come over here and settle because they were technically part of the Virginia Company. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. The problem is that did they land in Virginia?
No.
No. So half the crew, when they show up, says, well, we're not in Virginia, so we don't have to listen to Virginia Company anymore. And the other half says, yeah, but technically we're only allowed to be here because of Virginia Company. And then they do end up having some beef over that.
Was Virginia Company sending people over to check up on them, or they just send them over and say good luck?
So in Britain, they were sending people over to the Virginia Company because they wanted the company to grow, right? And so they're constantly checking up on them. You're going to have more pilgrims settle in New England. So you're going to have a division, a difference between the two. So what are some of the big differences that we've got between the northern colonies and the southern colonies?
At that point? Or
Well,
just,
moving on towards the Revolution.
slavery?
Okay, slavery is a big one. Where did the slaves end up?
South.
In the South, yeah, mostly
I wonder.
Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, right? So those are the big ones. Slaves don't end up too much in the northern states. So why doesn't slavery really take hold too much in the northern states?
They didn't
It's
like it.
slavery.
They didn't do
The land?
Was the
Yeah,
North
the
Part
land.
industrialized?
It's slavery.
Not
I
yet.
hope they wouldn't want it.
What? Okay.
You just
yes.
said there's no time
So-
point.
So at the time, yeah, the religious ideals are very opposed to the concept of slavery. So it doesn't take root in the North a lot because during the Great Awakening, they're opposed to slavery on religious ideas. Okay. The second one, Teray, you brought up. What did you say?
Land.
The land. Very good. What's the difference in the land in the North versus the South?
It's dry.
Yeah, so part of it is dry, it has cold winters, the ground is pretty rocky, so it's harder to farm. All right, whereas in the South, it's much easier to farm. Does that make sense? So what were they using slaves for?
Cotton.
Cotton, yeah, so first tobacco and later cotton. Those are gonna be the big cash crops, and the South is gonna become agrarian because of it. So we're gonna start to see even this split between North and South going even further back. All right, now, from the map on the board, you guys see, why did I draw the line here? Why didn't we go for, because I mean, what's on the other side of North Carolina? Tennessee. What's on the other side of Virginia?
West Virginia.
West Virginia, yeah.
That's a good question.
So why didn't settlers move further west?
They probably
Did
they
they
know
know
it
that
was
was
there.
there?
They know it was
Was it
there.
Native Americans there?
Okay, Native Americans there, they don't really know what's on the other side of the mountains, but they know there's something on the other side of the mountains.
They're
So
too scared.
they're too scared of chicken.
Yeah.
No,
They
so
actually send people though, right?
they do.
That's what the two people.
Yes, Lewis and Clark.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and they then they say
No,
Sacagawea.
Sacagawea.
It was Sacagawea. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Don't do
Sacagawea.
Sacagawea now.
Pocahontas is
Pocahontas
Virginia
with John
company,
Smith.
James
She was like
John
a
Smith.
12-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah, then they get married.
Mhm.
That's a problem.
What, Pocahontas and John Smith?
Yeah.
You just now put two and two
Yeah.
together. And that's
Yes.
what Austin John Smith
Yes,
was.
now that
Yeah.
wasn't
It's
okay.
it's a pretty
Mm-mm.
rough
They need to
tale
talk
from
to
back in
him.
the day. So, so if we're looking at the map, one of the things that you guys notice is
I thought you were saying
we don't
something.
move any
Yes,
further
right,
up.
right.
Now, what country's up here?
Canada.
Canada.
Like, I
Yeah.
guess.
And who lives in Canada?
Me, Canadians and French.
The Canadians and the French. Very
Yeah, because
good.
they speak
Wow,
French
you
in
answered
some
that
parts of
real
Canada.
quick.
They do speak French in some parts of
Yeah,
Canada. The reason
I knew
why is
that.
because the French
Quebec.
used to control parts of Canada. All right, but we had the French and Indian War. We watched a video on it last week, and the British eventually defeat the French.
Wow.
Okay.
So did
Yeah.
the French have to leave? Or
So some of the French are going to leave. The higher ups are going to leave, but a lot of the regular everyday Joes, they're going to stay.
so
Okay.
is that why they still speak French?
Yes.
Or, okay.
That's why they still speak French in parts of France
Imagine
or
being
parts of
part of a
Canada.
group that was the sole reason in
Yeah.
my country.
So so the French and Indian War starts because if you have two big empires, they're the